Now we have created the structure and applied the material for it. Let's move on to the step 2 to create the background. Press Shift A and select plane. Then press RX90 to rotate it to 90 degrees in the x-axis. And then press S to scale it up. Scale it as big as possible to cover the entire scene, and you can use the rendered view as a guide on how big the plane should be. Switch to edit mode by pressing tab and press the A key to select the plane. Next, right click and select subdivide and increase the number of cuts to 10. This will help add resolution to the mesh. Next, press U to unwrap. Switch back to object mode. Press number pad 3 to rotate the view, or click X on the gizmo. Now to bring the background all the way to the back, press G followed by Y, then drag it backwards. Press Ctrl number pad 1 to bring it to front view and continue to scale up the plane. Use the render view as a reference and try to scale it to cover the entire scene. Now let's introduce some material onto this plane. Google pixabay.com. Pixabay is where you can find some free stock photography. Type in sunset in the search bar and you can browse through many varieties, so choose one. You can also check out pixels.com. That's where I got the sunset that I used in my render. And if you would like to use the same one as I did, copy the URL above and download the image. Next, place this image onto the plane. Click New in the shader editor. Locate the downloaded sunset image and drop it into the shader editor. And now the image that you just dropped becomes an image texture node in the shader editor. And now connect the color from the image texture to the base color in the principal BSDF. And also connect the color to the emission color. Notice the background is not in the right position. You can rotate the plane or you can choose to rotate the image in the UV editor. Scale it up on the X and Z axis so it covers the entire background, as you can see in the rendered view on the bottom right corner. I prefer the sun to be located at the edge of the first semicircle, just like in the reference image. So I rotated the background on the Z-axis, and then I press G and X to move it along the X-axis. I think this background is fine, but I would like to add a bit more blue to the sky. So I'm going to add a color ramp in between the image texture node and the principal BSDF node. By using a color ramp, I can introduce a gradient of color by tweaking the values. There are two color stops in the color ramp. One is representing black and one is white. Click on the black color bar, drag the slider all the way up, so now you have a variety of colors to choose from. I'm gonna go for a blue color. Once you have determined the kind of blue shade you want, you can use the color stop to slide left or right to set the amount of influence the chosen color has. I'm going to fast forward this part here. You can play around with the colors. This is the color values I settle with. You can choose to copy and paste if you want. You can also click the plus button to add another color stop and to assign a different color, or the minus button to remove the selected color stop. For the other color stop, I'm going to go for a white edge value, and here is the value I chose for this color stop. Under the BSDF, increase the emission strength, my value I settle with is 0.5. Next, we are heading to Polyhaven to download our HDRi. Earlier, if you remember correctly, we did some more lighting to give some lighting on our render. Now we're going to add a HDRi, which stands for High Dynamic Range Imaging and is used to provide realistic lighting information to our 3D model. I'm selecting one that isn't too bright, and I can imagine it blending nicely with the view of the ocean. So the one I chose is Quarry 04 Pure Sky, and you can choose the same as well. Drop the downloaded HDRi into the shader editor. And then connect the color node to color node. Next, Shift A, Sky Texture node, select it. Connect the color from the sky texture to the vector of the HDRi image texture. I'm going to fast forward this section here where I'm adjusting the values so you can copy and paste the values I settled with. I also decreased the strength of the background as it feels quite bright. So now we have a natural lighting from the HDRi, but we need a lamp right where the sun is at. I lowered the background a bit and then press G and X to move the background plane downwards, and then click on the cursor icon to place the point where the lamp will appear to be. Shift A, lamp select point. Select the lamp and press G and X to drag it down so it will be like it's right above the horizon. You can change the color lamp to match the same color of the sun in the background. Head over to the lamp icon on the properties bar on the right. Choose a burnt orange color and we can increase the power to 10,000 watts since it's a big scene. On to the next thing, let's create an emission plane right under the structure. Take a look at the reference image and you can see there's this bright burned orange light right below the structure. So let's try to mimic that in here. Firstly, switch to edit mode. Zoom in closer to the structure. And then hold on Alt and select the edge and then hold on Alt plus Shift and click on the other edge. So you're selecting both edges. Once you've selected both edges, head on to the Properties bar, go to the Material tab, click on the plus icon to introduce another material, then click New. Change the Principal VSDF to Emission. Select the color. And then click on Assign. Now you'll be able to see the emission reflected in the render view.